Hello everyone, and welcome. Today, we are going to learn English with a true story from history, the story of Salvador Dalí, a man who saw the world in a very different way. Before we start, if you enjoy this kind of content, please subscribe to the channel and give a like. It will help you find more videos and continue to improve your English. Now, let's begin. A long time ago, in 1904, a boy was born in Spain, in a small town called Figueras. His name was Salvador Dalí, and from the beginning, people could see that he was not an ordinary child. He had a very strong imagination, and he often saw the world in a different way than other people. As a child, he liked to draw and create images, and he spent many hours alone, thinking, dreaming, and observing everything around him. His parents noticed his talent early, and they encouraged him to develop his interest in art. However, Dalí was not always easy to understand, because he had a very strong personality and he liked to do things his own way. At school, he was sometimes difficult, because he did not like rules, and he preferred to follow his own ideas instead of listening to others. As he grew older, he went to art school in Madrid, where he learned classical techniques and improved his skills, but he continued to challenge authority and often disagreed with his teachers. During this period, he discovered different styles of art, and he became more and more interested in modern movements. One of these movements was Surrealism, a style that tries to represent dreams, strange ideas, and the unconscious mind. For Dalí, this was the perfect way to express his imagination, because he could create images that did not follow logic, but that felt real, like in a dream. He began to paint unusual scenes, with strange objects, distorted shapes, and surprising combinations, and slowly, people started to notice his work and talk about his unique vision. As Dalí became more famous, his life became more complex and more public. He moved to Paris, where he met other artists and became part of the Surrealist group, and this was an important moment in his career, because he found people who understood his ideas. Around this time, he also met a woman named Gala, who would become his wife and his muse, and she played a very important role in his life. Gala supported him, helped him manage his career, and inspired many of his works. Dalí continued to develop his style, and he created some of his most famous paintings during this period. One of them, The Persistence of Memory, shows melting clocks in a strange and empty landscape, and this image became a symbol of his art and his way of thinking about time and reality. Dalí believed that time was not always fixed, and that our perception of reality could change, especially in dreams. His paintings often included symbols, hidden meanings, and elements from his own life, which made them even more interesting and sometimes difficult to understand. But Dalí was not only a painter, he was also interested in many other forms of art. He worked in cinema with the filmmaker Luis Buñuel, creating films that were as strange and surprising as his paintings, and he also explored fashion, photography, and design. He liked to experiment and to push the limits of creativity. At the same time, Dalí became famous for his personality. He often behaved in unusual ways, wore extravagant clothes, and used his image to attract attention. His famous mustache became one of his trademarks, and people could recognize him immediately. Some people thought he was a genius, while others thought he was too strange, but everyone agreed that he was different. Dalí lived a long life and continued to create art for many years. He experienced success, criticism, and many changes in his life, but he always stayed true to his vision. Even when people did not understand him, he continued to follow his ideas and to express himself freely. As he grew older, he returned to his hometown of Figueras, where he created a museum dedicated to his work, the Dalí Theater Museum, which is now one of the most famous museums in Spain. Today, Salvador Dalí is remembered as one of the most important artists of the 20th century, and his work continues to inspire people all around the world. His paintings are displayed in museums, studied by students, and admired by millions of visitors every year. His story shows that being different is not a weakness, but a strength, and that creativity often comes from thinking in a new and unusual way. So, what can we learn from this story? You do not need to be like everyone else to succeed, and sometimes, your differences can become your greatest strength. If you follow your ideas, stay curious, and express yourself, you can create something unique. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and see you in the next one.